Good evening, Tigers fans. We've got a doozy on tap for you here today. It is an NAIA Men's Basketball Championship quarterfinal matchup featuring the Tigers of Georgetown College taking on the top seed in the Dewar Quadrant, the Lancers of Grace College. I'm Jason Griefer. Great to have you here with us alongside our terrific crew, Bethany Blair, Liz Martin, and Richard Davis, all here in Kansas City. The Tigers come off of a dominating performance against Langston yesterday in the quarterfinal round. Georgetown holding Langston 22 points under its season average en route to a 74-60 win, led by a 21.15 rebound outing from Kyron Jones. They'll take on the top seed Grace, who comes into today's game 31-3 on the season. They are the champions of the Crossroads League. They'd easily dispatched of Freed-Hardman 86-67 in a quarterfinal yesterday. Let's take a look at what's remaining in the bracket here in Kansas City. 6 teams remain. The first semifinal is already set. The College of Idaho continues its role here in Kansas City. They blew away LSU Shreveport on Monday in the round of 16, and then earlier today easily dispatched of Tougaloo to advance to the Fab Four on Friday. On the other side of the bracket for College of Idaho is the Cinderella story here. The Ottawa Spirit, the 7 seed out of the Kramer Quadrant. They are through to the Fab Four after a convincing win over Montana Tech. And so you see where the things stand right now. College of Idaho will take on Ottawa on Friday in a Fab Four game. Georgetown looking to get back to its 16th Fab Four in program history. They'll have to get through the top seed Grace to do it. Arizona Christian and Indiana Tech will fill the final spot in the Fab Four later on tonight. Once again, here on our YouTube channel, it is an audio-only stream per NAIA regulations. We'll still have the full scoreboard as we did for the quarterfinal round against Langston. Georgetown already knocked off the Crossroads League runner-up, Indiana Wesleyan, of course, in that second-round thriller back at Davis Reed Alumni Gym last week. So now they'll have to go through the league champions to get back to the Fab Four. Grace College spent most of its time in the NAIA as a Division II member until the merger happened a few years back. It is their 12th appearance in the national tournament. They won the 1992 Division II championship, looking for their first Fab Four as a Division I member. They reached 2 of those in Division II. This is a high-powered Grace offense that comes in averaging 85 points per game. They shoot 54% from the field. Did better than that against Freed-Hardman, in which the Lancers shot 62% en route to an easy win over the Freed-Hardman Lions. But they can get it done defensively, too, do the Grace College Lancers. They average 5.5 blocks per game. That's second best in the country coming in. Also a rebounding margin of plus 10.5. That is 6th best in the country. So rebounding will be a critical factor in this one. Of course, we saw here in Kansas City the dominance of Kyron Jones on the glass yesterday. They'll need another big performance out of him, particularly when facing the Lancers' Elijah Malone, a 6'10 junior who averages 15 points and 8 rebounds per game. He had 6 blocks in the win over Freed-Hardman yesterday here in Kansas City. He was named first team All-Crossroads League along with first team All-Defense. A couple of other names to watch out for that we'll see in this one are for Grace College are the Gibbs twins, Cade and Jacob. Jacob averaging 14 points per game from the guard spot. He was all defense and second team all Crossroads, and his brother Cade averages 11.5 points. He had 14 in the win over Freed-Hardman in the quarterfinal. The Lancers led by Scott Moore in his 3rd season at the helm of Grace. He was named the Crossroads League Coach of the Year this season. 97 wins against 36 losses. Of course, Georgetown led by Chris Briggs in his 12th season. 319 wins against 82 losses. Coach Briggs, during his time as a head coach in Georgetown, is 22-6 inside Municipal Auditorium, and he will look to add one more to that and send the Tigers to the 16th Fab Four in program history. Georgetown has just left the court. They'll be in the black uniforms once again here in Kansas City, and with that, we'll step aside here momentarily as we are just about 9 minutes away from the tip-off of this highly anticipated quarterfinal matchup between Grace and Georgetown. The winner goes to Friday's Fab Four here in Kansas City. We're back in a moment. Welcome back to Municipal Auditorium here in Kansas City, Missouri. We're just about 6 minutes away from the introduction of the starting lineups and the tip of this quarterfinal matchup. Many believe coming in this was going to be the most evenly balanced game of the quarterfinal round games, and so far on the left side of the bracket, we've already seen two blowouts with College of Idaho and OUAZ easily dispatching of their opponents to get to the Fab Four. We do not expect that to happen in either our game here right now or in the nightcap here when Arizona Christian takes on Indiana Tech. Of course, the winner of this game and the winner of that Arizona Christian Indiana Tech game, they will meet in Friday's Fab Four. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Georgetown Tigers, and no changes. No surprise that there are no changes to the starting lineup. It'll be the same five that the Tigers rolled out in the 74-60 win over Langston yesterday. Kyron Jones remains in the starting lineup as expected after a 21-point, 15-rebound effort in the win over the Lions. And once again, that means Tay Dozier comes off the bench. Tommy Thomas, who had a big impact in that one as well, he will come off the bench to boot in this one for sure. Tay Dozier, look to see if he'll get some more minutes here in this one. Again, remember, he was coming into this trip to Kansas City a little banged up, and we'll see how exactly that plays out in this one. It would be a big boost for Georgetown if the Tigers can get some more minutes out of Dozier in this one, because Jaquay Wales has been carrying a lot of the load as of late. Dozier played 22 minutes in the win over Langston, but talking about Jaquay Wales, particularly as of late, he has been a warrior on the floor. His last 5 games, he's been averaging 37 minutes per game. He played 38 yesterday and helping the Tigers, particularly defensively. The numbers don't always show the stats. I mean, Wales finished with just a couple of points, a couple of rebounds yesterday in the win over Langston, but it was really his defense at the top against Langston that really bogged down the Lions' normally high-powered offense. It'll be a big challenge for him today in this one, facing a Lancers team from Grace that averages 85 points per game and shoots 54% from the field, averaging nearly 20 assists per game as well. Looking at the Lancers starting lineup, it is almost as consistent as you would like. 4 of the 5 starters in today's lineup have started all 34 games on the season. The only change lately has been Carter Stoltzfus, who's into the starting lineup. He's making his 13th straight start. Bryson Gaber started the first 21 games for the Lancers on the season. The switch was made to Stoltzfus, and it's been the same starting 5 for Grace ever since. So Cade Gibbs, Jacob Gibbs, Frankie Davidson, and Elijah Malone will all be making their 35th start of the season in this ball game. And so very consistent, and that's how you win 31 games on the season. You work that consistency all year long. And in Grace College, the Crossroads League champions, led by head coach Scott Moore. As I look to our left, he's having a conversation with Tigers head coach Chris Briggs. It'll be the final time that we see smiles and pleasantries exchanged between those two men on this day here in Kansas City. Again, Georgetown will be wearing the road black uniforms as the lower seed in the Dewar quadrant. The Tigers are the 3 seed, Grace the top seed. The Lancers will be wearing the white uniforms with red numbers and lettering and black trim around the collar and down the side. Everybody looks good and healthy on both sides as both teams are going through their final warm-ups. With that, we'll step aside one final time. We're just about 2 minutes away from the tap of this highly anticipated NAIA quarterfinal. Georgetown looking to get back to the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history. To do it, they'll have to take down the top seed, Grace Lancers. Back here courtside at Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City. You hear the Tigers fans right behind us as we are perched up right behind the Tigers bench. So we're sandwiched in between the Tigers fans and the Tiger bench in this one, as the Tigers have just had their last huddle and now heading to the bench as we are ready for the introduction of the starting lineups. We'll turn it over to our house public address announcer.
Our third matchup today features the #1 seeded Grace College Lancers taking on the #3 seed Georgetown Tigers. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present tonight's game ball, to Kathy Nelson, President and CEO of the Greater Kansas City Sports Commission and Foundation, and Visit KC. Kathy has led the charge to attract some of the largest events in our city's history, including the upcoming NFL Draft, taking place April 27th through the 29th, and the FIFA World Cup 2026. She guides both organizations to heighten visibility and generate economic impact for the benefit of Greater Kansas City, leading the KC Sports Commission to attract and retain a diversity of sporting events, and Visit KC to ignite global passion for the heart of America. Ladies and gentlemen, a legend of Kansas City and a beacon of leadership for the entire country, Kathy Nelson. First, our #3 seeded Georgetown Tigers. Starting at #0, 6'7", junior forward, Brooks Harris. #2, 6'1", senior guard, Jake Omer. #3, 5'11", junior guard, Jacqueline Williams. #21, 6'5", junior forward, Kyron Jones. 6'8", senior forward, Drew Lamont. The Tigers are led by head coach Chris Briggs. Honorary coaches is Kissick Construction. Representing Kissick Construction is Rick and Luke Austin for Georgetown Tigers. And now the #1 seeded Grace Lancers. Try out #2, 6' sophomore guard, Carter Stoltzfus. #5, 6'6", sophomore forward, Kate Gibbs. #10, 6'5", sophomore guard, Jacob Gibbs. #32, 6'7", senior forward, Frankie Davidson. And #50, 6'10", junior center, Elijah Malone. The Lancers are led by head coach Scott Moore. Honorary coach for Grace as Masters Transportation. Representing Masters Transportation is John and Maria Goodman. Honorary athletic director for Grace is Lulu.
So the starting lineups introduced for each team: for Georgetown, Cam Brooks Harris, Jake Omer, Jaquay Wales, Kyron Jones, Drew Lamont. For Grace College, Carter Stoltzfus, Cade Gibbs, Jacob Gibbs, Frankie Davidson, and Elijah Malone. Both teams with the fist bumps. We're just about set for this quarterfinal to get underway. It'll be Lamont and Malone to jump in center court. They're ready. We're ready, and we hope you're ready too. The tap is controlled by the Lancers. At the top, Cade Gibbs being checked by Cam Brooks Harris. Davidson near side, 6'7" senior. Hands off to Stoltzfus, who will run the point. He's had 9 points in each of the first couple tournament games. Straight away, Cade Gibbs trying to drive on Brooks Harris. Cut off, back out to Stoltzfus. Shot fake, pull up from 16 feet is good. Stoltzfus threw the shot fake. Omer went flying by, and Carter Stoltzfus has the opening bucket. Georgetown will now set up. Here is Kyron Jones at the top of the key. Hands off to Omer around a screen. Omer doesn't want the three. Trying to drive left side. Stops. Pop from 10. Left it short, and it's pulled down by Malone, and Omer misses his first try. In transition, Jacob Gibbs, the three-pointer, no good. Rebound, long rebound that is, onto the floor, pulled down by Malone as Wales could not secure it. Stoltzfus will take a long three. It's too strong. Kyron Jones has the rebound, and he'll bring it up into the front court for Georgetown. Jones down the lane into the body of Malone. Malone blocked the shot, and now Jones went up for a shot and then tried to pull it back down, and that's a travel, and Georgetown turns it over. I like the idea of Jones trying to challenge the 6'10" Elijah Malone, but too much size there. So Grace will walk it back up. A minute 10 into this one with the 2-0 lead. Remember, Georgetown got off to a slow start against Langston before really turning it on over the final 25 minutes and route to the 14-point win. Davidson at the top to Malone at the foul line. Back to Davidson. Left-hand dribble down the left side. Banker well defended by Lamont. It's no good. Kyron Jones pulls down the board. Another good job by Drew Lamont to go straight up and down with his defense. Cam Brooks-Harris, top of the key for Georgetown, being checked by Davidson. He'll back out. And now takes a screen from Kyron Jones, steps into a three, way off the mark as Brooks-Harris never got his feet even close to being set. In transition, a lay-in from Cade Gibbs off the pass from Malone as Georgetown did not get back. It's 4-0 in favor of the Lancers as we approach the 18-minute mark. This is Wales with the left-hand dribble straight away. Gets a screen from Kyron Jones, floater from 10, again way off the mark, and Malone with another rebound, and Georgetown's offense is ugly thus far. Davidson, wraparound pass inside to Gibbs, kicks it back out straight away. Malone thought about a three, Brooks-Harris goes flying by, ball stripped away by Omer. Brooks-Harris up ahead to Jake Omer behind the defense, and Jake Omer lays it in, and Georgetown turning defense into offense for the first bucket in this quarterfinal. Jake Omer creates a steal and gets rewarded with the basket 2.5 minutes in. Davidson on the right wing, straight away to Jacob Gibbs. Far side, this is Cade Gibbs in the far corner being checked by Brooks-Harris. Now to Davidson near the midcourt line. Back to Cade Gibbs. He'll launch a three that rattles out, and Lamont pulls down the board, and he'll advance it into the front court. Drew Lamont, right side to Kyron Jones, now straight back. Lamont doesn't want the three, was well challenged. Wales hands off to Brooks-Harris. Now the handoff to Omer. Jake Omer, 15-footer, no. Drew Lamont has the offensive rebound. He'll take a 15-footer himself and hit it. Malone didn't come out to challenge Lamont, and Lamont says, thank you, I'll knock down the mid-range all day, and we're tied at 4. 16:45 to go in the first half. Stoltzfus right wing, gets around the screen, being checked by Omer. Jump pass to the far side, now reset straight away. Malone inside against Lamont. Malone will have a strength advantage here, works the baseline, works his way in. Tigers want to walk, they won't get it. Malone lays it in. That's going to be a problem for Georgetown all day long as Malone is a big, big man underneath, 6'10", in that 260, 270-pound range. Brooks-Harris inside, an air ball from 8 feet out, and Cam Brooks-Harris not even close on his first 2 tries. In transition, a bounce feed inside, and the shot is no good inside from Gibbs and pulled down by Brooks-Harris. Omer pulls a transition, hit three-pointer is well short. Not a good shot from Omer. Malone with the rebound. Omer went for the steal, didn't get it. This side, a shot inside by Cade Gibbs, and he is fouled by, I believe, Cam Brooks-Harris, and it will be the first foul of the game charged to Georgetown's Cam Brooks-Harris. Foul trouble has been a problem for Brooks-Harris in this tournament. Cade Gibbs will step to the line, 75% foul shooter on the year, making his 35th start. First free throw is perfect, point number 3 for the sophomore from Plainfield, Indiana. 15:52 to go as Jacob Gibbs lines up on the right side of the line for his brother Cade's second free throw. Doesn't matter. Cade Gibbs knocks it down. He has half of the Grace total, and Grace with 4 in a row. Wales into the front court here, being watched by Stoltzfus. Jones sets a screen. Right wing, Brooks-Harris gets a 3-ball look. No good, and Brooks-Harris just continues to be brutal from the field. He's over 3. None of them have been close. On this side, a shot inside, no good. Rebound attempt put up by Cade Gibbs. He's blocked by Brooks-Harris. Jake Omer in transition. Scoop shot, not there once again, and Jones touches it out of bounds. And Georgetown playing a little too fast in my mind. They're rushing a lot of shots. The Tigers lose it out of bounds. It's over to the Lancers. Jacob Gibbs will walk it up now. 15-20 remaining here in the first half. Georgetown 2 of 8 from the field. Malone wants it on the high post against Lamont. Now going to try and back Lamont down. Brooks Harris reaches a hand, and Lamont goes straight up. Malone looking for an answer, shuffles it back out to Stoltzfus. Now they reset to Malone. Malone inside as a foul is going to be called. It's going to be 2 on Cam Brooks Harris as Lamont tried to draw the charge, and Cam Brooks Harris came through and just slapped down on the wrist of Malone. And that's going to spring Rashad Bishop off the bench on the other side of a timeout. Cam Brooks Harris continues to struggle in Kansas City. He's going to have to sit with his second foul. Grace shooting free throws on the other side of this timeout. One of the issues the Tigers are having right now is going for pump fakes. Grace players, especially Elijah Malone down the block, pump faking almost every time, and the Tigers are going for it, particularly Cam Brooks Harris, who's bid on it twice and picked up 2 fouls. And so the Tigers lose one of their most versatile players for quite some time. I don't know that Brooks Harris will sit the rest of the half, as Chris Briggs generally doesn't like to play a player with 2 fouls already in the first half, but he will do it if he feels the need. So out of the timeout and out of the foul, Elijah Malone will step to the foul line. He's a 77% free throw shooter on the season. He scored 19 points in each of the last 2 Grace wins in the tournament. And the first free throw for Malone is perfect, his 3rd point. And again, the size of Malone is going to be an issue for Georgetown all night long. The Tigers just physically do not have anyone that can match up with the big fella. Malone goes 2 for 2, and it's 6 in a row for the Lancers. 10-4 lead with 14:57 to go in the first half. Wales brings it up on the right side. Kyron Jones straight away. Now to Omer. Omer down the lane. Omer with the left hand. It's blocked out of bounds by Malone. Malone is doing nothing but hunting down in the block. It reminds me of what Shawnee State did with E.J. Onu years ago. Just have the big man just hide out in the paint and try and block everything. Wales picks up the dribble to Kyron Jones straight away, working against Malone at the foul line. Malone challenges to Jones. His 15-footer is not even close, and Stoltzfus pulls down the board. Georgetown is 2 for 10 from the field to start. Stoltzfus crosses over, goes behind Malone, now left side to Jacob Gibbs. Now Malone posting up on Kyron Jones. Malone inside. Fall away from 10, not there. Well defended by Jones. Omer will take it into the front court for the Tigers. Omer working against Gibbs, right wing. Jones will take an open 3. No, and that is not his shot. Kyron Jones is 5 out of 28 on the year from three-point range. And Georgetown off to another tough start offensively here in Kansas City. Shot down the lane by Davidson was blocked by Bishop off the glass. Georgetown out and running. Wales underneath the basket, wraps around to the far corner. Omer, quick release 3 is good. Boy, do the Tigers need to see that one. Jake Omer's 41st 3 of the season cuts the deficit in half. Tommy Thomas will check in at the next dead whistle. Big shot for the Tigers, their first 3. Malone posted up on the near side block, going against Lamont this time. 15 to shoot. Lamont holding his ground. Malone gives it up deep to Davidson. Left wing, Jacob Gibbs. Gibbs right hand dribble around Wales. The basket no good, but he is fouled. Gibbs at 6'5" took advantage of the strength advantage on Wales, and Wales picks up his first foul. It's the team's 3rd. We still have yet to have a foul called against Grace here in the first 6+ minutes, as Jacob Gibbs will go to the line for the first time. He is a 79% foul shooter. Grace is a team, an excellent free throw shooting team at 74%. First free throw from Jacob Gibbs is good as Thomas comes into the game for Georgetown, replacing Lamont. Malone will head out now for Grace. He's being replaced by Ian Scott. One more here for Gibbs. Second free throw for Gibbs rolls off, and Bishop pulls down the board, and Georgetown now into the front court, once again trailing by 4. Neither team particularly shooting well from the field. Georgetown 3 of 12. Grace is just 3 of 10, but Grace is 4 out of 4 at the charity stripe. Kyron Jones, left wing, working against Jake Wadding, who's into the game for the first time. Jones inside, hook shot, not there, but Kyron Jones is fouled. Kyron Jones immediately going to work on the slender Jake Wadding to pick up the first foul against the Lancers, and that's what Georgetown's got to do with Malone out. Got to work inside. Kyron Jones will step to the line. He's a 62% foul shooter on the season. And the first free throw is no good, and Georgetown has been miserable at the foul line in this tournament. Bryson Graber checks in for the Lancers, but the Tigers on multiple games in this tournament have missed more than 10 free throws. Jones will try and salvage the second. Not even close on the second one. Left them both short, didn't use the knees at all. So it still remains 11-7 Grace, 7 minutes into this first half. Graber, right side, stops at the foul line, being checked by Omer. Now to Ian Scott in the high post, working against Bishop. Scott trying to work baseline. He's cut off, finds it inside to Cade Gibbs for a dunk. Tommy Thomas got caught ball watching, and Gibbs went right around him for the slam. Cade Gibbs now with 6. Wales behind a screen. Three-pointer, no good. Jones tried to come flying in for the board, and he's the last to touch it out of bounds. And again, that's not the shot Georgetown wants. Wales taking a 3, 8 seconds into a possession. 3 out of 13 from the field Georgetown is as they trail by 6. At the elbow, Scott looking for an option, and inside, Thomas steals it away from Cade Gibbs, and now Thomas throws a bounce pass into the Grace bench. Not sure what Thomas was trying for on that, as he fired it right at the feet of Wales, who was running down the left side, and it's Georgetown's second turnover. Graber will walk it in to the front court. Graber stops at the left elbow, left wing, and now into the corner. This is Scott. Wadding around a screen, Wadding into the lane. Wadding's shot no good, but nobody for Georgetown went to get the rebound, and Wadding puts his own miss back in, and it's an 8-point Lancer lead. 5 black shirts standing and watching. Wales around a screen from Jones, now reverses it back to Jones. Reversal inside, Jones through contact, basket and the foul. The switch got Jones on Bryson Graber. The foul is called on Wadding. That'll be 2 on Wadding, but a big bucket there for Kyron Jones as Tay Dozier will come in for the first time, replacing Jake Omer. Wadding called for the foul, could have gotten Ian Scott on it as well. In either case, Jones will step to the line to try to finish the 3-point play. And this one is rattled home. 5 now for Jones, and Georgetown now within 5 at 15-10. Jacob Gibbs trying to post up on Jaquay Wales. Wales trying to swipe through, and Wales just got called for his second foul. Wales can argue all he wants. It was clear contact inside, and so now Cam Brooks-Harris and Jaquay Wales to the bench with 2 fouls. Jabrion Spikes will come in for the first time here in Kansas City to replace Wales as Jacob Gibbs steps to the line. He was 1 for 2 on his last trip. The first free throw here is good as Spikes now comes in. Brett Sikafus comes in for the first time for Grace, replacing Cade Gibbs, who goes out with 6 early points. Cade Gibbs out, his twin brother Jacob at the line, although Cade is listed as an inch taller. Second free throw is good for Jacob Gibbs. He has 3 all at the line. It's back to a 7-point lead for the Lancers. Dozier at the top. Gives Georgetown a different look at the point guard position, being 6'5". Behind a screen, now to Tommy Thomas with the left-hand dribble, kicks it left side. Jones wants a 3. Again, not there. That is not the shot Georgetown wants. Grace will let Jones take that all day. Again, Kyron Jones has only made 5 3-pointers on the season. Graber, left-hand dribble. Bishop cuts him off at the elbow, working underneath inside. Brett Sikafus with a lay-in on a backdoor cut as Dozier was ball watching. It's a 9-point Lancer lead with 10:50 to go in the first half. Dozier trying to cross over on Graber to the baseline, over his head. Bishop spin in the lane, floater from 10, not there. Dozier trying to tap it to himself. It's ripped down by Wadding. Wadding off and running around one man. Wadding to the rim, and I think there's going to be a timeout coming here for Georgetown, and there is. Grace is doing anything they want on both ends. Tigers' offensive shot selection has not been good all day long. They're not getting back on defense either. Georgetown takes a 30-second timeout as they trail 21-10 with 10:32 to go in the first half. Grace 21, Georgetown 10 with 10:32 to go in the first half. Right now, Georgetown struggling on both ends of the floor. Tigers just 4 out of 15 from the field to start this ball game. Dozier walks it up into the front court, being given plenty of room by Graber. Dozier is not a three-point threat. Tommy Thomas, left winger on a screen from Cam Brooks Harris, who's back into the game with 2 fouls. Spikes right wing, working against Sikafus. Gets brushed, lost it, got it back. Brooks Harris picks it up now, 8 seconds to shoot. Thomas, left wing, working with the right hand behind the back to the left. Floater from 10 is good. Tommy Thomas making things happen on the baseline. The first points for the Harlem, New York native. Under 10 minutes to go, Tigers down 9. Graber around a screen trying to work the baseline, and that ball is kicked out. It'll stay with the Lancers with 20 to shoot. Before the inbound happens, we have a media timeout. 9:51 to go in the first half. Grace out to a 9-point lead. We want to thank everyone who was listening to our call here on the Georgetown Tigers YouTube channel. Appreciate those who've dropped a nice mention in the live chat, which we have going right now. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and drop a comment in there as well. We're seeing a few coming in there, so we do appreciate you not only tuning in, but also getting involved in the conversation on our YouTube channel. Georgetown trailing 21-12 against Grace right now, as the Tigers are just 5 out of 16 from the field. Grace is up to 47%, 7 out of 15. Grace also 6 of 7 at the line. One area we thought Grace would have an advantage on is inside, and they're exploiting it early. 12-4 advantage on points in the paint through the first 10-plus minutes here in Kansas City. It'll be a Grace inbound out of the timeout. Georgetown will go with the same lineup it had on the floor before the break. Brooks Harris, Spikes, Thomas, Dozier, and Jones. It'll be Bryson Graber to inbound for the Lancers. He'll toss it into Wadding at the right elbow. Now to Davidson on the left elbow. Quick reverse layup inside as Ian Scott got free inside right off the inbound. And again, Grace just killing Georgetown on these backdoor cuts. Back to an 11-point Grace lead. Thomas straight away. He'll want a three-pointer. It's way off the mark, and another questionable shot selection for the Tigers. Going way too quick and being goaded into these open shots. Meanwhile, Grace has an answer as Bryson Graber marches right down the floor and pops in a 10-footer with no resistance from the Tigers' defense. It's a 13-point Grace lead. And this is, I'd say this is danger time right now for Georgetown. They've got to start finding some things to get going on offense. Dozier will take a long three, and he is fouled, and that is a bailout foul for Georgetown as Graber gets called for it, as Dozier let that go about 5 feet behind the line. And again, Tay Dozier has just made 10 three-pointers on the season. I don't know why Graber would step there and challenge that hard. First free throw from Dozier, not even close. Georgetown 1 of 4 at the line. The second one for the freshman from Louisville is good. First point for Dozier as Lamont and Omer back in for Georgetown. The Lancers will counter with Elijah Malone. Kyron Jones and Tommy Thomas will get a breather. I can't imagine the breather for Jones will last very long, though, especially with Malone returning to the fray. Dozier will try and make it 2 out of 3 at the line. And he does. Back to an 11-point deficit. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. And Grace up to 53% shooting. 9 of 14 inside the three-point line. That ball's deflected out of bounds on a reversal by Brooks Harris. He'll stay with the Lancers as Carter Stoltzfus comes back in for Sikafus. 19 to shoot in this possession for Grace. That ball is kicked out by Omer as they were trying another quick pass inside to Scott. Brooks Harris had it defended well anyway. That pass was never going to get through. Stoltzfus around the screen, straight away to Scott. Scott now to Graber left wing to Stoltzfus. Malone wants it. Lamont trying to post up. Scott down the left side goes right around Brooks Harris, who didn't want to pick up a third foul, and lays it in. And that's the risk you take, putting a player on the floor with 2 fouls. They cannot offer much resistance defensively. And it's a 27-14 Grace lead. Dozier straight away. He's got a switch working against Malone. Dozier will take a 17-footer off the back iron. Dozier's got to be willing to challenge Malone going to the rim, and Spikes knocks it away from Malone in transition. It'll stay with Grace. And as I suspected, the breather for Kyron Jones does not last long as he is back into the game, and he'll replace Brooks Harris. Deep toss to Stoltzfus, and Grace for the moment will slow it down by their standards anyway, the way they've been running. Graber stops at the foul and works to Malone on the far side, facing up against Lamont. Spin move in the lane, shot is short, goes over the top of Lamont to get his own rebound back, and now a 3-second violation for Malone as Georgetown brought the house down on the big fella and forced the turnover. It's the 4th Lancer turnover, and maybe that'll get Georgetown going here just to get a stop against Elijah Malone, who has had a strong start in the paint already with 7 rebounds. Dozier in the far right corner picks up the dribble. Now bounce feed to Kyron Jones. Jones working against Malone. Inside, Kyron Jones walled up, kicks it deep to Lamont. Lamont with 10. Back to Spikes on the right wing. Jabrion Spikes, far side. Jones doesn't want the 3 this time. Works inside. Hook shot the glass, no good. Dozier with a tip. That was going to be a shot clock violation. Dozier saw it, got it off in time. Dozier with 4. 27-16 with 7:20 to go in the half. Davidson trying to back down Spikes. Dozier reached in and slapped it away. Spikes in transition. Has Dozier on the right, and Spikes throws it away. Threw it a foot behind and a foot over the head of Tay Dozier. It's Georgetown's 3rd turnover. Scott comes back in. Scott heads out, I should say, for Grace. He'll be replaced by Cade Gibbs. So another opportunity in transition wasted for the Tigers on a careless pass from Jabrion Spikes. Those are the types of things you've got to convert on, particularly when you're down double digits in the first half. Backdoor cut again. Davidson lost it into the hands of Malone. We have a tie-up. It'll go over to Georgetown on the alternating possession. Good job by the Tigers as that pass Malone went down low, and that's exactly where you want it if you're a defender. It invites that double team. So Dozier will now walk it up as the Tigers are starting to settle in some defensively here against Grace, forcing a couple of turnovers as of late. The problem has been for Georgetown is they've not been able to get anything going consistently offensively. Kyron Jones works inside, working around Malone. The hook shot, no. Spikes inside, grabs the offensive rebound. The shot is blocked, but a foul is called. And it should send Spikes to the line. Davidson is called for the foul, his first and the team's fourth. It will put Jabrion Spikes at the foul line. The freshman is a 74% foul shooter. And now the officials having a conversation. I think they're trying to confer it was in the act of shooting and not on the floor. So Spikes to the line for two. The freshman out of Caldwell County High School. Free throws perfect. Jacob Gibbs back into the game for Grace, replacing Graber. One more here at the line for Spikes, trying to get Georgetown back within single digits with 6:38 to go in the first half. No. Georgetown again leaving points at the line. Tigers now 4 out of 8 at the stripe. Grace quickly resets. Stoltzfus at the midcourt line. Davidson to Malone straight away. Around a screen, this is Stoltzfus. The reversal out to Gibbs. Jacob Gibbs, that is, working inside, kicks it out. Davidson steps into a wide open three and drills it. That is really good offense from the Lancers. They've been attacking inside so much. Georgetown had to overcommit. It led Davidson to step into a three, his 51st of the season. Jones at the elbow will take a 15-footer. No, and the tap-in is good. Tay Dozier again. Dozier making his work on the offensive glass. He now has 6. Stoltzfus stops at the foul line. Checked by Omer inside to Malone, who's trying to post up on Malone, or post up on Lamont, I should say. Jump pass inside. Cade Gibbs not there. Jacob Gibbs trying to tap. It's not there. Cade Gibbs grabs the rebound. Another shot off the glass is no good. Pulled down by Dozier. So Georgetown again gets the stop. Tigers are starting to send 5 players into the paint on every chance they get. Spikes cut off. Here is Jones, left baseline, working against Malone. Kyron Jones inside, hook shot, yes! Kyron Jones starting to realize he can challenge the 6'10" Elijah Malone. Jones with 7, the Tigers back within single digits with 5:10 to go in the half. Jacob Gibbs out deep, checked by Dozier. Wraparound pass inside, and Lamont's going to get called for a foul, trying to poke the ball away. Doesn't like the call. It is Lamont's first and the team's 5th. We'll have a timeout on the floor. 4 minutes, 59 seconds to go in the first half. This was about the point the Tigers made their run against Langston. We'll see if they can do it again on the other side of this break. Nine of the 11 made baskets in the first half for Grace have come in the paint. The Lancers, for that reason, shooting 50% from the field and have an 8-point lead over Georgetown with 4:59 to go until the break. The Tigers just 8 of 24 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and only 4 of 8 from the foul line. So if you're Georgetown, you've got to take some solace in the fact that you've not played well offensively at all in this game. You've left points on the board at the foul line. You're not shooting well at all, and yet you're only down 9. It's a long way to go. But you got to say, the way the Tigers have been playing offensively and how much they've struggled offensively in this game, not a bad spot to be in, only down 9. It could be a lot worse. So Lamont picked up the foul before the break. I would be stunned if the Lancers don't go inside to Elijah Malone to try to get that second foul. Instead, Davidson will come off of a curl, and a three-pointer is too strong. Weak side rebound by Cade Gibbs, who just outfought Kyron Jones for the board. It is the 6th offensive rebound for the Lancers. Davidson near side being worked against Dozier. Cade Gibbs, left wing, now to Malone on that far side, working against Lamont. The house coming against Malone. Inside, the shot is blocked out of bounds by Lamont with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Tigers fans behind us wanting another 3-second call as Malone was again camped out, surrounded by 4 black shirts. 2 seconds to shoot for the Lancers. And now a foul before the inbound, and it's going to be called on Tay Dozier. His first and the team's 6th, and that's a killer for Georgetown. It's going to reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. Just a freshman mistake there from Dozier to grab a man before the inbound and give the Lancers a relatively fresh shot clock. Jacob Gibbs bounces into Malone. Malone skips a pass near side. Davidson fakes the 3. Spikes closes out well. Good defense. Jacob Gibbs inside, wraparound feed to Malone. Lamont knocks it out. Georgetown getting better and better defending in the interior. Grace maintains possession with 12 to shoot. Lamont had a forearm into the body of Malone there. Got to be careful. Davidson around a curl. Resets to the top and Stoltzfus. 8 seconds to shoot. Malone set the screen to Stoltzfus. Right side three-pointer for Cade Gibbs is good. Not much of a challenge on that right wing, and it's a 12-point lead again for the Lancers. Their second three-pointer of the half. Simple ball reversal, and the Tigers couldn't get there. A hold is called on Jacob Gibbs, a late call as he was grabbing Omer all the way across the floor. It'll be the first foul against Jacob Gibbs and the 5th against the Lancers in the half. 4:01 to go, and the Tigers trailing by 12. Jones will inbound on the far sideline. And Lamont within the right wing. Georgetown going right to left from where we are at this juncture in this half. Omer, step back 3. Yes! Shuffled the dribble, step back, and drilled one from straight away. Omer now with 8, and Georgetown again within 9. Stoltzfus, right wing to Malone, straight away. He'll try a 3 for the answer. It's in and out. The ball's tapped out of bounds by Jacob Gibbs and over to Georgetown. Ian Scott now in for Malone. And I got to think for Georgetown now, you've got to counter with going to Kyron Jones inside. Jones has been quiet on the offensive end as of late. Dozier will bring it up. He's been the point man since Jaquay Wales went to the bench with 2 fouls. 3:30 to go in the half. Dozier around a screen from Spikes, now reverses to Spikes. Spikes at the foul line, working against Davidson. Spikes blocked by Davidson, but a foul also with the body, and that's going to be 2 on Frankie Davidson. And I love the aggressiveness there from Jabrion Spikes. He's only 6'2", but he is built like a linebacker on the floor. And odds are, in that kind of matchup, even against a 6'7" Davidson, Spikes is going to move Davidson out of the way there enough to draw the foul, and that's exactly what Spikes did. Now the challenge for Georgetown, can you knock down free throws? Spikes does hit the first. It's his second point. And now Davidson heads out. He'll be replaced by Wadding, who already has 2 fouls. But I think of the two, Grace would say Jake Wadding is the more expendable player. The one they could afford to lose more than Davidson, although Davidson's been quiet today. Spikes 2 for 2 at the line. Nice job there by the freshman. And Georgetown creeping back in, down by 7. Again, it was around this point against Langston in the quarterfinal, which the Tigers made their run. Jacob Gibbs straight away around a screen, wraps her out. Stoltzfus doesn't want a 3. Good challenge by Dozier. Jacob Gibbs straight away, reversal. No one rotates for Georgetown at all. Just awful defensive rotation for Georgetown. Gibbs knocks down the 3, the lead back to 10. Omer, step back. He wants a long 2, hits the dead spot of the rim and drops. It's a 2-point basket for Omer, making it 36-28. Omer now has 10. Jacob Gibbs, left wing, inside to his brother Cade, and a foul is called down low. It'll be against Omer. It'll be his first, and it puts Georgetown over the limit. Grace will be at the foul line for a 1-and-1. Cade Gibbs to the line. It's a 1-and-1. Gibbs is 2 for 2 at the line here in the half. Make it 3 for 3. He now has 10 points in the half. 2:38 to go. And Cade Gibbs with one more free throw here to try and put the lead back at 10, and he has it. 11 now for Cade Gibbs. I think for Georgetown, if you could get this to anywhere between 5 and about a 9-point deficit, got to be feeling pretty good going into the locker room. Omer comes around a screen from Jones. Fall away 3. Jake Omer hits another one from distance, falling to his left. Omer knocks it down. Jake Omer trying to shoot Georgetown back into this. He has 13. He's 3 of 4 from downtown. The other side, Dozier blocks a shot inside of Gibbs, and Omer picks it up, and Georgetown will advance forward. Omer with the hot hand. Lets another one go. Yes! 5 feet behind the line, and now Grace wants a timeout as Jake Omer is on one. Omer now with 16 in the half and forces Grace to take a 30-second timeout with 1:59 to go. Jake Omer shooting the Tigers back in it. The deficit is down to 4. Easy to see why the Tigers fans are excited. The first time they've really been able to get a chance to get up and cheer as Jake Omer is going off here as of late in the first half. He's 4 out of 5 from 3, 6 of 10 overall, and 16 points to get Georgetown now within 4 with 1:59 to go in the first half. Step behind a screen on the last one. He was some 3 feet behind the three-point line, and he was turning as soon as he let it go. Kind of a Steph Curry move out of the release. He knew it was good the entire way. Now we'll see if Grace can respond. Bryson Graber with it back in. Now to Scott. Around a curl is Jacob Gibbs. Gibbs working against Spikes. Good defense by Spikes, but Cade Gibbs with the response, and a foul to be called on the offensive rebound putback as Tay Dozier gets called for it, and that is 2 on Dozier. Gibbs to the line. Cade Gibbs, that is. First free throw is good. And Cade Gibbs, that is, carrying the offense for Grace. He has 12 here in the first half. He has 13. And he's 6 of 6 at the line. 1:46 to go. The Georgetown deficit at 6 at 40-34. Dozier left wing, being checked by Graber. Georgetown trying to get Omer free again. Omer get good closeout by Jacob Gibbs. Jake Omer lost his foot and got it back, shuffles it off to Dozier. Dozier behind a screen. Three-pointer is good! Tay Dozier just his 11th 3 of the season. And after the play, a foul called against Georgetown after the play. Jake Omer has been teed up again I don't know what he did or said. The basket counts, but Omer is teed up after the play, and that is going to be 2 fouls on Jake Omer. And everybody asking what Jake Omer did. I didn't see anything demonstrative physically. And on the other side, Cade Gibbs misses the first technical free throw. But again, I understand it's a highly competitive game, but even if there wasn't much there, as Gibbs misses a second, Jake Omer's got to know better than that in this situation, especially after getting teed up yesterday. He's been teed up again. It is his second foul of the half. The Dozier three-pointer counts, giving Dozier 9.5, and the deficit is down to 3 for Georgetown with $1:25 on the clock. Right side, Bryson Graber around a screen, working against Omer, who has those 2 fouls. Dozier tried to slap it away. He also has 2 fouls. Wadding at the foul line, stolen away. Jake Omer going the other side. Graber going to try and hustle it down. He'll let him go. Jake Omer is taking over in the second half. He has 18. The deficit is down to 1. 1 minute to go in the half. Wadding around the weave, hands off to Cade Gibbs, right wing. Now to Ian Scott, thinking about a 17-footer, doesn't take it. Hop step in the lane, nowhere to go. I don't know how a 3-second violation's not called there. Graber straight away. Left wing, Jacob Gibbs working against Spikes on the baseline, and a foul is called. And is it a block? Is it an offensive foul? No, it is a foul on Jabrion Spikes on the drive. I don't know how that is when Gibbs was the one initiating the contact. Instead, it's the first foul on Spikes, and it is the 10th on Georgetown. And Jacob Gibbs at the line for 2. He's 3 out of 4 at the line. 39.6 on the clock as Gibbs hits the first, his 7th point. Malone back in for the Lancers. The second one for Jacob Gibbs, in and out. Kyron Jones has the rebound. About a 9-second differential between game and shot clock. Chris Briggs says, let's be patient and run our offense. Georgetown trailing by 2. Omer around a screen again! Jake Omer, are you serious? Another three-pointer for Omer. He has 21. And Georgetown has its first lead of this ball game at 42-41 with 10 seconds to go. Are you serious? It's turned away. Tay Dozier in transition. A foul is called in transition. The basket counts and 1. What a response. The foul is called on Stoltzfus, his first. Tay Dozier with now 11. Now they're going to get together. Are they going to count this in the act of shooting? They will count it. It is an and 1 for Tay Dozier. My goodness, what a run Georgetown is on. They did the same thing yesterday. Georgetown is going off here late in the half. Dozier's free throw is perfect. He has 12 in the half. 6 seconds. Jacob Gibbs up the left sideline, trying to drive, pull up from 15. Banker is good. Nice shot from Jacobs. He has 9, and the half comes to an end. What a turn of events. The Georgetown Tigers again get down double digits, and again they rally. Over the final 6:03 of the half, the Georgetown Tigers outscore Grace 26-13. And here at the half, Jake Omer has lit it up. He has 21 points. Tay Dozier with 12. The Tigers lead by 2 at the break. An unbelievable first half here in Kansas City. I don't know what it is about late in the first half that gets Georgetown going, but they have rocketed into the lead here at halftime in Kansas City, 45-43 over the Grace Lancers. There you see the numbers right now. Georgetown up to 50% from the field, 6 of 11 from 3, and that's almost in sole thanks to Jake Omer, who was 5 of 6 from downtown and has 21 points in the first half to shoot the Tigers into the lead. But how about a big call, too, to Tay Dozier, who had to play really the last 10, 11 minutes or so after Jaquay Wales went out with 2 fouls. Dozier finished the first half with 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. The Tigers doing all of this despite getting out-rebounded by 4 in the first half. Georgetown, though, does have 6 steals. It's led to 10 points off of 7 Grace turnovers. A big, big factor for the Tigers there. As you see on your screen, 7 steals for the Tigers in that first half. Just terrific defense as the half went along. They got better and better, particularly in the paint, working against the big fella, Elijah Malone, who finished the first half just 1 of 5 from the floor and only 4 points. He averages 15 a game. Frankie Davidson averages 15 points per game. He has just 3 points. It's been the Gibbs twins for Grace that have been their saving grace in the first half. The Twins have combined for 22 points and have knocked down 10 out of 14 at the charity stripe. Elsewhere for Georgetown, Kyron Jones, 5 points and 4 boards. Jabrion Spikes with big minutes off the bench as well, replacing Wales. He's knocked down 3 free throws. He's also grabbed a rebound and has played some nice defense. Tommy Thomas with a bucket and 1 basket for Drew Lamont. But again, Lamont's focus today has been much more on the defensive end. He hit a 15-footer, but he's been primarily the man who's been responsible for keeping Elijah Malone in check in the first half. And should Georgetown go ahead and go on to win this game, and that's a big if at this point, I will make sure I ask Chris Briggs about that. Lamont's defense on Malone, particularly in the first half. Malone has been frustrated, but the Tigers have also been doing a great job in help defense as well as the half has gone along. When Malone has had opportunities inside, we have often seen 3 and 4 Tigers crashing the house around him, and he has been frustrated as the half has gone along. Again, just an incredible turn of events in this first half that saw Georgetown really down by double digits a lot in this first half. But they've just continued to fight back and fight back and fight back, and worked their way into the lead. Twice in the half, Georgetown trailed by 13 and just kept working at it and working at it and working at it, and have shot themselves into the lead here as we hit the halftime break. Talked about the tough start Georgetown had from the perimeter in this game. The Tigers hit their last 5 from 3-point range. 4 of them from Jake Omer and 1 from Tay Dozier to power into the lead here at halftime. I'm going to step aside. I'm going to catch my breath. I think you fans out there in Tiger Nation are going to want to do the same here. We are just about 6 minutes away from the second half of this thrilling quarterfinal. Still 20 minutes to go, but Georgetown halfway there as they lead Grace in this high-scoring affair, 45-43 in Kansas City. Jake Omer and Tate Dozier combined for the final 17 points of the half for Georgetown to put the Tigers into the lead as we are just about ready for the second half of action in this quarterfinal. Let's take a look at the bracket as it stands right now. One Fab Four matchup is already set. The College of Idaho blowing through Tougaloo in the quarterfinal earlier today. They'll meet the Cinderella team that's left, the Ottawa Spirit, the 7 seed out of the Kramer quadrant. They are into the Fab Four. Those two teams will meet. There you see the bottom of the bracket. Georgetown will meet either, if they win, they'll meet either Arizona Christian or Indiana Tech. That game's still to take place later tonight. But we still have 20 minutes of action here to go in this one. A long way from determining if Georgetown is going to get back to the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history. You know Grace is going to have some kind of answer, and we'll see how quickly Grace tries to go into Elijah Malone, see if they can get him established early in this second half. Same starting five for Georgetown: Brooks Harris, Omer, Wales, Jones, and Lamont. And it will be the original starting five for Grace as well: Stoltzfus, the Gibbs twins, Davidson, and Malone. Second half is underway. Malone will take the inbound in the front court for the Lancers. Left wing, Stoltzfus around a screen, stops at the foul line, reverses to Davidson. Malone wants it posted up. Lamont working against him. Inside, double team, triple team comes. Malone is fouled from behind. Again, Georgetown collapsing the house down around Malone. And a foul is called against the Tigers. It'll be against Kyron Jones. It is Jones's first. Came in from behind to try and block it and got some of the arm of Malone. So Elijah Malone will step to the free throw line. He's 2 for 2 today. Make it 3 for 3. His 5th point. Second free throw is good, and we're tied at 45. 15 seconds into the second half. Wales walks into the front court. Lamont gives it back to Wales on the left wing, trying to get Omer free off the screen. Stoltzfus chasing and chases him away. Lamont at the top with the left-hand dribble, stops at the elbow. Brooks Harris on the left wing will reset all the way to the top with 10 seconds to shoot. Brooks Harris working against Davidson. Step back three, no, off the mark. Jones trying to chase down the rebound and does in the right corner. Into the middle, Brooks Harris working against Gibbs. Fall away, good shot from Cam Brooks Harris. Absorbed the body blow from Cade Gibbs and hits the fall away 8-footer. First points of the day for Brooks Harris. Stoltzfus stops at the left elbow, reverses to Davidson. Now to the right side, Cade Gibbs inside to Malone. Triple team comes. Cade Gibbs down the lane, and a foul is going to be called. And Georgetown wants a push-off. It's going to be the third foul on Cam Brooks Harris, who, again, having problems reaching out with the hands when he doesn't need to do it. So Brooks Harris picks up his third foul, 1:02 into the second half. Left side, Jacob Gibbs, who had 9 in the first half, checked by Wales, back from his brother Cade, now inside to Malone on the block. Georgetown double team coming, and Malone inside. He is fouled, and Lamont gets called for the reach in. Pretty easy foul to call there, and that's 2 on Lamont, and 3 fouls on Georgetown, 1:15 into the second half. Lamont's trying to contend that Malone's clearing out before the ball arrives, but the officials not having any of that thus far, and so Malone did that early in the first half. He got a couple of Tigers in some foul trouble. He's doing it here again. Jacob Gibbs straight away off the inbound. Around this curl is Stoltzfus. Gets a look at a three. Omer got a piece of it. It's pulled down by Lamont. Lamont will bring it up into the front court. Omer with the block. Third block of the game for Georgetown. Kyron Jones, left block, working, facing up against Malone, now tries to back him down. Kyron Jones inside, fall away, no, gets his own rebound back. Inside, Brooks Harris with the slam. Cam Brooks Harris cut down the lane. Jones with a beautiful shovel pass, and Brooks Harris now with 4, and the lead is 4 for Georgetown. Stoltzfus back the other way at the foul line, stops back to Malone. 17-footer is good. Nice form from the big fella. Malone with 8, and the Georgetown lead right back down to 2. 2 minutes into the second half. Here is Jones, this side, straight away, around to Omer. Omer foul line floater is no good, but he is fouled. He was knocked down on the release by Malone. It'll be the first foul called against Elijah Malone and first foul of the half against the Lancers. Jake Omer will step to the line for the first time today. Struggled yesterday from the line. He's a 76% foul shooter. This free throw is perfect. 22nd point for Omer. One more here for the Taylor Mill native. Perfect. 23 now for Omer. 51-47 in favor of Georgetown. Stoltzfus will walk it into the front court. He's being checked by Omer, gets a screen from Malone. Reversal right side to Cade Gibbs. Now Stoltzfus straight away. The entry pass to Malone wasn't there, denied by Lamont. Jacob Gibbs left wing to Stoltzfus. They keep trying to get it inside to Malone, and Lamont's facing. Stoltzfus, pass, deflected away, over to Davidson. For some reason, Brooks Harris just didn't go get the basketball. Malone, elbow jumper is good. I don't know what Cam Brooks Harris was doing on that play. Knocked straight in the air, and Brooks Harris just ran away from the ball. He was anticipating, I think, a teammate going to get it. There was nobody in black over there. As it stands, 51-49 Georgetown, 17-10 to go. Wales down to Kyron Jones on the high block, working against Malone, right side. Jones between the legs, now going to try and back Malone down. Jones, nowhere to go. Hook shot, yes, doesn't matter anyway. So you got no help from the rest of the team around the perimeter, and Jones says, fine, I'll hit an 8-foot hook shot. Jones has 9. Stoltzfus quickly the other way, now to Malone. 15-footer, tries the window this time. It's not there. Brooks Harris eventually secures the rebound. The Tigers will let Malone take those face-up jumpers all day long as opposed to backing players down. Omer, now to Jones, who wants to take on Malone. Jones working baseline. Malone cuts him off. Jones inside, trying to clear space again. Skips the pass out to Wales, right corner. Back inside to Jones. 10 seconds to shoot. Jones, step back from 10. No, tried to chase his own rebound down, but Davidson grabs it for the Lancers. Davidson in transition, working against Brooks Harris. Got to be careful there, is Brooks Harris. He does. Malone deep left wing, doesn't want it. Cade Gibbs around a screen, straight away to Stoltzfus, right side. Davidson, good closeout by Brooks Harris on the 3. Now Malone, left block, facing up on Lamont. 10 seconds to shoot. Now Malone will back down. Omer came through with the double team and stripped it. Brilliant play. Wales in transition. The shot is blocked by Gibbs as Wales was trying to play for contact instead of finishing at the glass. Wales now 0 for 3 on the day. Great defensive play on the last possession, though, by Omer. Davidson to the far side. Now Stoltzfus, right wing. Checked by Omer. The pace is slowed down on offense for both teams at this juncture. Gibbs working against Wales. 8-foot floater is good as he used his shoulder to clear space on the smaller Wales. Jacob Gibbs now with 11 and Grace back within 2. Kyron Jones with a head of steam down the left side, trying to work inside against Malone again. Jones off the window is good. Kyron Jones has figured out he can take on the big fella. Kyron Jones with 11. 55-51. Malone straight away deep, and a foul is called underneath. And I think they're going to get Jaquay Wales with a hold. And that is going to be 3 on Wales and the 4th against Georgetown. 15:04 to go in the half as Wadding and Graber come in for the Lancers to replace Davidson and Malone. Jabrion Spikes, who had valuable minutes in the first half, is going to replace Jaquay Wales. Wales has been matched up on the 6'5" Jacob Gibbs all day, and the Lancers have been doing the smart thing to exploit that matchup. And as it is, Gibbs picked up the 3rd foul on Wales. Now Spikes matches up against Gibbs. And Spikes nearly knocked it away, but Gibbs inside, and on the way up, we've got a tie-up. It'll go over to Georgetown on the alternating arrow. Great help defense again by the Tigers, realizing the Lancers want to crash it at the glass. The Tigers are sending 5 black shirts to the house, and they get the ball back. 5 minutes into the second half. Jones now working against Scott. Scott, much slighter of frame. Jones, 10-foot hook, left it short, got his own rebound. Kyron Jones bumped along the baseline, and a foul called against the Lancers. The foul is called against Scott. It's his first. It's the team's second, and we have a timeout on the floor. Kyron Jones has figured things out here in the second half. He has 11. Starting to take over inside once again. Still a long way to go. The Tigers up 4 with 14:47 to go. 14 minutes, 47 seconds remaining. The winner goes to Friday's Fab Four. Georgetown has the lead, 55-51. It'll be Tigers basketball out of this timeout with 20 seconds to shoot. Same lineup on the floor for the Tigers out of the timeout. Omer, Spikes, Dozier, Jones, and Lamont. And it'll be the same lineup for the Lancers out of the timeout. Stoltzfus, Cade, and Jacob Gibbs, Jake Wadding, and Ian Scott, who picked up the foul before the timeout. Kyron Jones will take the baseline inbound. Check that. Spikes will now come take the inbound. Let's see if they look to continue to feed Kyron Jones. He'll take the immediate inbound going against Scott. Double team comes. Jones picks up the dribble. Straight away to Spikes. 15 to shoot. Georgetown trying to spread it out and let Kyron go to work one-on-one. Jones straight up against Scott. 15 feet away. Jones trying to dribble his way in. Step back. 15-footer. Good! Kyron Jones knocking him down again. Maybe it's another second half takeover as Jones, the third Tiger, into double figures, and it's a 6-point Georgetown lead, the Tigers' largest. Stoltzfus around a screen, stops at the foul line. Reversal to Scott. Scott trying to drive right side. Omer went for the steal, didn't get it, but instead forces a travel against Scott. It's the 10th Grace turnover as Graber comes back in. Can Georgetown take advantage? So far they have 12 points off of Grace turnovers. They'll look to add to that on this possession as Dozier will walk it into the front court. Patiently setting up the offense now. Jones takes it at the top of the key, working against Scott. Downhill drive, and Jones just too strong. Basket and the foul. Jones just bullying his way to the rim on Ian Scott. He'll have a chance at a three-point play. Kyron Jones now with 13. And right now it is the Lancers, who you thought coming in had the size advantage. They have no answer for Kyron Jones. Jones, free throw off to the right, and the rebound pulled down by Wadding. So it's an 8-point Georgetown lead. Jones now with 13. This side, Wadding down low, basket not there. Jones forced him off the block. And the Tigers start to assert themselves defensively once again. Omer will walk into the front court. Omer with just those 2 free throws here in the half. Lamont left wing. Trying to set Spikes on a backdoor cut. It wasn't there. Hand off to Omer. Behind a screen. 3. That's left short. Omer was a few feet behind the line. Up behind everybody. Great pass up ahead. And Lamont will foul Cade Gibbs hard on a dunk. Lamont was caught 3-on-1 as Grace went for the home run ball. Lamont picks up his third. That is a clean, hard foul and a great challenge at the rim on both sides. Cade Gibbs will step to the line looking for his first points of the half. Rashad Bishop will come into the game likely for Lamont after this first free throw. And the free throw is good for Cade Gibbs, his 14th point. Lamont will head to the bench. Great work again by him on the block defensively in this game. The offense hasn't been there for him, just 2 points on 1 field goal attempt, but that's not been his role out here in Kansas City. Gibbs hits the second. He now has 15 points. And Cade Gibbs will come out, replaced by Frankie Davidson. 59-53, 13-20 remaining in this quarterfinal. Dozier patiently walks into the front court as the Tigers fans behind us want to score. Dozier working against Davidson. Now Bishop's going to post up against Scott. Spin to baseline. The banker is not open there. Wadding pulls down the board, and Grace is off and running. It's 2-on-1. Inside, Davidson not there, and Spikes gets called for a block as he came underneath Davidson late. And I like what Grace is doing right here. They are taking that defensive rebound, and they are off and running. In the last 2 sequences, they have caught Georgetown not getting back in transition. Grace did that at will in the quarterfinal against Freed Hardman, and now going back to it. Davidson at the line. He is a 79% free throw shooter, and the line drive bounces out. Very quiet day for Davidson, just 3 points for a guy who averages 15. faint squeaks from the opposite end, a little perspiration right underneath the hoop, and they'll get that cleaned up before Davidson takes the second free throw. And the obligatory cha-cha slide music for the 3 seconds that we had the delay. Davidson's second free throw. This one is good. 4th point for the senior. 5-point Georgetown lead, and Dozier will again walk the ball up the floor. Tigers shooting 48%, Grace shooting 47%. Grace looking at Jones at the foul line. Jones working against Wadding right at the foul line. He'll take the 15-footer. Yes! Kyron Jones, a second-half man once again. 61-54, Davidson a three, yes, on the right wing. Got space off of a screen. Davidson now with 7, and the lead down to 4 for Georgetown. The 4th three of the day for the Lancers on 10 tries. Dozier around a screen, elbow jumper, no, and a rebound eventually secured by Wadding, and Grace throwing again as 2 Lancers cherry picking. Georgetown did a great job getting back. Jacob Gibbs, right wing. Lost it on the baseline, stolen away by Omer. Omer, now they'll hit ahead pass to Dozier. Little too strong, Dozier saves it. Bishop, basket lays it in. Great save by Dozier, Bishop's first points. Up and down pace, we're going again after a slow start for both teams. Scott down the right side, a foul is called, and I think they're gonna get Bishop before Jones tried to step in and take the charge. And if you're Georgetown, you would rather have Bishop take the foul than Jones. It is indeed on Bishop. It is his first, but that is the team's 7th on Georgetown. And so Grace will be shooting free throws for the final 11:47 of this ball game. Ian Scott will go to the line. This will be a 1-and-1 for Scott, who is a 72% shooter on the year. Free throw is good. Scott will earn the bonus, his 5th point. One more for the sophomore from Plainfield, Indiana. Same hometown as Cade and Jacob Gibbs. Free throw is perfect. Give Grace credit. They're knocking him down at the foul line thus far in the game. 19 out of 24 at the charity stripe are the Lancers. It's keeping them within shouting distance of the Tigers. Kyron Jones on the far side going to face up against Wadding, and now a foul away from the basketball is called against Jacob Gibbs. That'll be his 2nd in the team's 4th. And Gibbs got caught trying to grab Omer as the Tigers trying to get Omer loose on a screen. Dozier will inbound some 5 feet in front of me, right in front of Chris Briggs' seat on the bench. He'll do it to Omer. Omer inside working against Jacob Gibbs. From 10 feet, Omer, no, and eventually the ball is squirted loose into the hands of Rashad Bishop. Davidson had it, lost it, and Georgetown will get a 15 seconds more to work with. Jones, step back, 17-footer. He is feeling it, knocking him dead is Kyron Jones. He now has 17, 10 here in the half. Davidson, left wing, working against Spike. Step back, 17-footer, good. Nice shot from Davidson, and now a timeout called by Grace. They will take a full timeout, leaving them with 2 remaining in the game, and I believe this will also be stretched into the media timeout. Georgetown continues to maintain a small lead. They'll try to add to it with 11:04 to go in this quarterfinal. Georgetown 65, Grace 61. 11 minutes and 4 seconds to go in this quarterfinal. One of these teams will be the third team into Friday's Fab Four. We'll take a quick look at the bracket once again to show you where things stand as of now. One Fab Four set matchup already set. College of Idaho takes on Ottawa. The winner of our game here takes on the winner of Arizona Christian and Indiana Tech. That game still to come later on tonight here in Kansas City. It was Jake Omer in the first half. It's Kyron Jones here in the second half carrying the scoring load for the Tigers as Georgetown will walk the ball into the front court looking to add to a 4-point lead. Dozier will cross the timeline. He has been running the offense for most of the day as Wales has been saddled with foul trouble. Jones at the top trying to get Omer free and defended well by Jacob Gibbs. Instead, Kyron Jones facing a double team. Up off the glass and basket in the foul, the double team. Who cares about that? Kyron Jones buries another one as he muscles Wadding all the way to the rim. The foul is on Wadding. That is his third and the team's fifth. Jones now with 19 on the day. Looking to make it a 20-piece. Free throw is absolutely perfect. Jones with 13 and a half, 20 for the game. 68-61 Georgetown with 10:40 to go. Davidson hustling to the left wing, shuffles it off to Scott, back to Davidson. Crossover, Spike stays with Davidson. Davidson now gets free. A three is well short, but Jacob Gibbs chases a long rebound and then throws it right through the hands of Wadding, who wasn't expecting it. It's the 12th Grace turnover. 12 turnovers now for Grace, just 3 on the day for Georgetown. And this is a Grace team that does not force a lot of turnovers. They only force 10 per game. Elijah Malone now back into the game for Grace, along with Cade Gibbs. And I can see even Malone coming onto the floor. He is frustrated as is. And with Malone coming in, Georgetown will counter with Drew Lamont. He will replace Rashad Bishop. The chess match keeps going. Not a surprise there, but I would bet when Grace gets the ball back, they're going to go inside at Lamont and try and get him a fourth foul. Jones inbounds to Lamont, now over to Dozier with 20 to shoot. Should have been a full shot clock reset here. I'm not sure why it's not. Omer, crossover three, yes! He had been quiet. You can't keep a hot shooter down. Omer has knocked down another one. It's his 6th three-pointer. He has 26. On the other side, Graber responds with a three of his own. So the Tigers' brief 10-point lead is down to 7. 10 minutes to go. Jake Omer, 6 of 8 from three-point range. He and Kyron Jones have combined for 46. Dozier around a screen. The banker is good. Kyron Jones set the screen. Tay Dozier having a breakout performance here in Kansas City. He has 14. Graber, right wing, around a screen from Malone. Reversal. Now inside to Malone, working against Lamont. I thought Grace would go here. Inside, Malone. Jump shot is there and the foul, and I think they're going to get the foul on Lamont. Chris Briggs trying to say Malone used his elbow to clear space, but Lamont is called for his 4th, and that is a critical foul call. Malone will be at the line for a three-point play opportunity on the other side of a timeout. 9:31 to go. Georgetown 73, Grace 66. Chris Briggs using the early portion of that timeout to give the officials a piece of his mind. He really felt that Malone, once he had two hands on the ball, was using his elbow to clear Lamont away and give himself space for the shot. And I saw it too, and I think you can make an argument there. I don't know that it warrants the level of an offensive foul, but Malone was certainly using those chicken wings to clear Lamont out of the way. But a big foul here with 9:31 to go as Georgetown's strongest post defender is going to have to come out with that 4th foul in Drew Lamont. Tommy Thomas is going to come in for the Tigers on the other side of this timeout at its conclusion. And we'll see if Georgetown, I would think with Lamont on the bench, we'll see Kyron Jones be the one with the defensive responsibility on the offensive end on Malone, but it'll really be a team effort for Georgetown in that regard. And it worked when the Tigers were making their first half run, with Jones having to defend Malone and help defense coming along. It really started to turn things in the Tigers' favor. So Malone will step to the line to shoot one free throw. And on the day, he is 4 for 4 at the line. He currently has 12 points and 7 boards. One shot here for the junior from LaGrange, Indiana. Grace has been very strong at the line here in this ball game. Free throw no good, pulled down by Tommy Thomas. So Dozier will walk it up into the front court with 9:25 on the clock. Jones wants it on the far side against Cade Gibbs, trying to back his way down to the elbow. Jones inside. Now it shuffles out to Tommy Thomas. Elbow jumper way too strong, and Malone snatches the one-handed board. Thomas nearly banked that one home. In the backcourt, Graber up the left side, being chased by Spikes into the front court. Graber behind a screen, now straight away. Picks up his dribble. Left side to Cade Gibbs, now to Malone, working against Kyron Jones. Omer circling behind, looking for the steal. Malone's 8-foot hook shot, not there. The ball's tapped out, but Wadding cannot keep a foot in. Wadding trying to argue he was pushed, not even close to that kind of call, and it's over to Georgetown. Malone got a good look over the top of Jones, but couldn't knock down the hook. 8:45 to go. Dozier brings it into the front court. I think a big possession here for Georgetown. If you can get a bucket here, get yourself a little more breathing room. Jake Omer working against Gibbs. Step back three, way off the mark. Jones got the offensive rebound. Jones will into the corner now to Jabrion Spikes for a 10-footer. That's off the mark and pulled down by Graber. I think Spikes may have rushed his shot a little bit. He was open, but nevertheless, Graber in transition. Down the lane, Wadding is bumped. Shot is no good, but he will go to the line for 2. The foul is on Kyron Jones. That is his second, and it's the team's 9th. Grace has been their most dangerous in transition off of a missed shot. Jake Wadding will go to the line. He has not been there today. He's just a 61% foul shooter, as Georgetown will get set to send in Cam Brooks-Harris and Jaquay Wales after this first free throw. Wadding splashes home the first, his first point of the half. Spikes out along with Tommy Thomas. And I would be surprised at this point if the trio of Dozier, Omer, and Jones left the floor at any point in this ball game. Second free throw for Wadding is good. Might have gotten a lane violation anyway on Dozier, but the free throw is good. The Tiger lead back to 5. 8:15 on the clock. Now Omer working the right baseline. Wales heads away from the ball to let Dozier work. Dozier being defended by Malone this time. Brooks-Harris left wing to Dozier straight away. Dozier thought about a 3. Now he'll take a 3. Yes! Malone backed off enough. You can't blame him. Dozier's not a three-point specialist. Dozier's knocked down 2 of them, though. He's 2 for 2, and it's back to a 7-point lead for Georgetown. Wadding crosses over on Brooks-Harris, switched off against Kyron Jones. This time, Kyron Jones draws the offensive foul as Wadding just barreled through. That's going to be 4 fouls on Jake Wadding. Grace can't argue a flop there. That was the 3rd time, as I'm looking at the replay, that Wadding put a shoulder into the chest of Jones, and finally Jones hit the deck and got the call. Georgetown has seemingly had an answer every time Grace has tried to put together the run to get within that 4 to 5 point range. The Tigers have found the response. Wales will bring it up this time. 7:35 on the clock. Wales takes the handoff back from Jones, now to Omer. Inside, Omer around 1, and Omer is fouled and going to the line. It'll be a foul against Cade Gibbs. It is his first and the team's 7th. It'll put Jake Omer at the line, who had a masterful first half with 21 in the half. He has 26 now on the day and trying to add 2 more. First free throw for the senior is perfect. Give him 27. And we're going to see Rashad Bishop come into the game now. He'll replace Kyron Jones. And I think Chris Briggs, what he's trying to do is give Jones, with a little bit of a breathing room here, an 8-point lead now. If Omer hits the shot, makes it 9. Give Jones a breather for maybe a minute, maybe 90 seconds, and then get Jones back in and have him refresh for roughly the final 6 minutes. Second free throw for Omer is perfect. Give him 28. 77-68 Georgetown. Jacob Gibbs hustles into the front court to Stoltzfus, right wing. Stoltzfus now inside. Omer knocked down the pass. It's out of bounds. It'll stay with Grace. Gibbs tried to dump it inside to Malone. Omer read it so well that he spiked it straight up into the air. It went out of bounds. Staying with the Lancers with 19 to shoot. Omer trying to contend that Gibbs touched it last. The officials aren't having it. Jacob Gibbs in the left corner, down to Malone, working against the sleight of frame Rashad Bishop. Bishop holding his ground, though, forces Malone to kick it back out. Malone wants it back, and here it is. Malone inside from 10. It is short. Tap up is good by Scott, who beat Dozier on the weak side. Scott now with 8. The lead back to 7 with under 7 minutes to go. Wales, right wing, working against Stoltzfus, around a screen, into the paint, far corner, Brooks Harris, 3, no, and the rebound pulled down by Brooks Harris. Shuffled pass inside, Bishop, a monster slam. It was 2-on-1 inside, and Brooks Harris shuffled it off to Rashad Bishop. 79-70 Tigers lead with 6:30 to go, and again, the Tigers have an answer. Scott on the other side in the paint, walled up by Brooks Harris. Straight away, Cade Gibbs 3, barely draws iron. Dozier clears the board, and Georgetown says, let's slow things down with a 9-point lead. Chris Briggs even says the same thing, spread everyone out. Let's take this clock perhaps under 6 minutes. Dozier, left-hand dribble, reversal. Jake Omer, big three-pointer, yes! Jake Omer has tied his Georgetown high, career high with 31. It is a 12-point Tiger lead with under 6 minutes to go. Malone on the left block, working against Bishop, looking for an option. He'll put it down himself this time. Triple team comes in, a foul called on the floor. Omer tried to come in for the steal, and Jake Omer is called for his third foul. It is the team's 10th. Jake Omer, 7 of 10 from three-point range. We had been saying it for weeks, how due he was to go off on somebody, and he's doing it here against the Grace Lancers. 31 points, and still 5:47 to go. Isaiah Malone at the line. He will shoot 2 as Georgetown has surpassed the 10-foul limit. The free throw rattles out. And maybe some fatigue starting to set in for the big fellas. He has been facing double, triple, quadruple teams virtually all night long. The second free throw is short, and Bishop taps the rebound to Brooks Harris. And now it is Grace getting tight at the line. 5:40 to go. Wales on the left side. Georgetown continuing to work clock with this 12-point lead, and you can't blame him. Tigers working so well offensively. Dozier right wing, 10 seconds back to Wales. Dozier right wing again, now to the top of the key, trying to get Omer loose. The shot clock down to 4. Jake Omer steps into a three-pointer off the left iron. The rebound out of bounds, last touch by Bishop. Omer had to step through a man to try to get the shot off. It bounced off the left side of the rim. Bishop nearly had the offensive rebound, but could not corral it with both hands. So Grace gets a stop they desperately needed. Now they've got to find a way to score against this Tigers defense that has constantly had the answer here in the second half. Stoltzfus around a screen right wing, straight away. This is Jacob Gibbs. Gibbs working against a smaller Wales, shuffles it inside to Wadding. Wadding blocked by Brooks Harris, tapped out to Jacob Gibbs. Back to Wadding again. Wadding inside, lost it, a foul on the floor, and 2 more free throws coming for Grace. Cam Brooks Harris called for another reach in. That's going to be 4 on Brooks Harris as we reach the under 5 media timeout. 4 minutes and 56 seconds. Georgetown is that far away from the Fab Four. Grace shooting free throws on the other side of the timeout. with Georgetown not only maintaining but adding to their lead, the Tigers were able to give Kyron Jones an extra breather. So Jones is going to check in on the other side of this timeout, but he got a nearly 2-minute and 30-second breather on the bench to get himself rested, get rehydrated, and get back out onto the floor. And you got to think, if you're Georgetown, with your hammer coming back inside, you've got a real opportunity here once things get going again to try and pull away even more and close this game out. Jones has 20 points and 9 rebounds. Jake Omer has been the star all game long with 31 points. Tay Dozier, a magnificent effort as well from the freshman. He has 16. Jake Omer with 31, tying his season high and career high at Georgetown. He had 31 against Freed Hardman back on January 7th. So his next point will set a new career high in a Tiger uniform. Not a bad time to have it as you're trying to send your team to the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history. Out of the timeout, Jake Wadding will step to the line for Grace to shoot 2 free throws. He is 2 for 2 here in the half. Free throw is off the front iron, and again, we're seeing more and more of that from Grace as things have gone along here, as perhaps the Lancers are starting to tire with 5 minutes to go. And it's been the Lancers that have been ones really pressing the pace in transition, not Georgetown. Second free throw from Wadding is good. Give him 7. 82-71 with 4:55 to go, and Dozier will bring it into the front court. Wales playing the off-guard position. He's in the far left corner. Brooks Harris being waved off by Dozier. Now Jones straight away. Omer, brief window on a backdoor. Jones thought not to do it. Now inside, Jones gets called for an offensive foul. A late call there as Wadding flopped, but picks up the foul on Jones. It's Kyron's third. There was certainly contact between the two, not enough to send Wadding 3 feet beyond the baseline. And Jones commits the offensive foul. So Grace now with a chance to get back within single digits. Stoltzfus will pick it up 3-quarter court. Straight away to Scott, top of the key. This is Davidson around a screen. Dozier slapped it away. Davidson keeps it. Wadding left wing with Malone on the bench. They're trying to get it inside to Jacob Gibbs. And Cam Brooks Harris again reaches in, and Cam Brooks Harris has fouled out. Wales was trying to front, and they lobbed it over the top. Brooks Harris slapped down on the hands, and for the second straight game, make it third straight game in the tournament, Cam Brooks Harris has fouled out. He'll leave today with just 4 points and 4 rebounds. Trying to help side defense as Wales keeps getting matched up against Jacob Gibbs. Gibbs is with 11 here in the ball game. The first free throw rattles home for his 12th point. Both the Gibbs twins have been quiet here in this half. They combined for 22 in the first half. And after this Gibbs free throw, which is good, they have just 6 here in the second half. 82-73 Georgetown. The Grace bench up on its feet trying to implore another defensive stop. 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in this quarterfinal. Lamont deep on the left wing, hands off to Omer. Now Wales. See if Georgetown can maybe get Kyron Jones established on the block. Dozier around the screen on the left wing. Jones wanting it, and now here it is. He's working against Cade Gibbs. Double team comes. Jones straight away. Lamont's 3. In and out. Did everything but go down. And Grace off and running. It's a 2-on-1. Jacob Gibbs stolen away, knocked away by Lamont, I should say. It'll stay with Grace. Great read by Drew Lamont to anticipate the baseline pass to Scott and knock it away. And there you see again, we saw again Grace running after a missed shot. They got out quickly in a 2-on-1 scenario. Stoltzfus takes the inbound left wing, gets a screen from Scott, turns it down to go baseline. Trying the bounce feed inside. Scott going up for a shot, and a reach-in foul called against Omer, and that is going to be 4 on Jake Omer. So now Cam Brooks Harris is fouled out. Drew Lamont has 4 fouls. Jake Omer has 4 fouls. And Ian Scott will go to the line to try to bring the Lancers within 7. Scott at the line today, 2 for 2. Both of those free throws earlier in the half. The free throw here is good. He has 9, and Grace slowly chipping away. Still a lot of time left in this ball game. Second free throw for Scott, rattles out, and Dozier clears the rebound. It's Dozier's 6th board. It's 82-74, a tenuous 8-point lead right now because Georgetown has come up empty on the last few trips. Dozier left wing, they're trying to get Omer free, working against Jacob Gibbs. Omer to the far corner, Lamont wants a 3. In and out again, Kyron Jones, rebound, no, the tap is no good. It's pulled down by Stoltzfus, and Grace is off and running. 4 on 3, Stoltzfus down inside to Scott, and Drew Lamont just fouled out. Lamont becomes the second Tiger to foul out, and now Georgetown loses its strongest interior defender. Lamont will leave with 2 points. And now an even more tenuous lead. Ian Scott back to the line. And Chris Briggs needs to send a player onto the floor here for that fifth player. I think it's going to be Rashad Bishop going in. I thought it might be Tommy Thomas, but instead the Tigers will go with the taller Rashad Bishop. Now I'm surprised here with Lamont out that Grace has not put Elijah Malone back into the game. Ian Scott at the line just went 1 for 2 a few moments ago with 3 minutes and 17 seconds to play. The first free throw is good. Scott now becomes the 4th Lancer into double figures. One more. And it is good. Gives Scott 11, 82-76. And the Grace contingent starting to make noise for the first time in a long time here in Kansas City. The Tigers have had a response every time Grace has shown a run here in the second half. We'll see if they can do it again. Kyron Jones facing up on Jake Wadding, spins away into a double team. Out to Omer in the left corner. Omer working baseline on Jacob Gibbs, now spins into the left wing. Omer with 10 seconds. Gets a screen from Kyron Jones, now steps away. Omer, 3, well short. Kyron Jones grabs the rebound and eventually works it out. The Tigers will reset. That's the 10th rebound for Jones, another double-double. Make it 11 rebounds now for Kyron. Wales with it with 10 seconds. Tigers working stagnant here, gotta go, 5 seconds. Wales at the elbow, lost it, forced it up, no good. It's a shot clock violation. Not good offense there from Georgetown. After the reset at 20, Wales was left on an island. Nobody else was moving for Georgetown at all. And now Davidson comes back in for Grace with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play. Said it a few moments ago, folks. This game is long from being over. Jacob Gibbs will walk it up to the floor. The Tiger contingent wants a defensive stop. Cam Brooks, Harris, and Drew Lamont have each fouled out. Jake Wadding has it on the left wing. Davidson up to the top. And a foul is going to be called here on the screen. And Jake Omer, my goodness, Jake Omer has become the 3rd Georgetown Tiger to foul out. Oh, my goodness. At least I believe that's 5 on Omer. I had it as 5 on Omer. No, I checked that. It's only 4 on Jake Omer. So beg your pardon, Omer does stay in with the 4 fouls. Scott misses the first free throw. So that's a break for Georgetown, quite frankly. Omer stays in with the 4. Scott misses the first. 2:19 on the clock. Second free throw rolls in. Scott now with 12. It's down to a 5-point lead. The Grace bench on its feet. Kyron Jones at the front court. Georgetown needs to find a basket. Wales at the top. I'm surprised it's not been Dozier these last few sequences handling the ball, just given how good Dozier's been today. Kyron Jones top of the key, working against Wadding. 10 seconds to shoot. Kyron Jones, step back, 17-footer. Oh, my goodness. Did Georgetown need that in the absolute worst way? Kyron Jones with 22. 7-point lead with 1:45 to go. Stoltzfus now to Wadding, right side, a lot of contact, basket and the foul. Wadding scores. The foul is called on Bishop. That's his second. Check that. That's going to be 3 on Bishop, not 2. 3 fouls on Rashad Bishop. And Wadding steps to the line, trying to get Grace within 4 with 102 seconds remaining in this quarterfinal. The free throw for Wadding rattles home. Georgetown trying to contend that Bishop was pushed into the lane by Gibbs, but the free throw is good. Georgetown 84, Grace 80 with 1:40 to go. Georgetown again working through and patient on offense. Dozier has it at the top. Wales moves to the off-guard spot. Jones at the top working against Wadding. Jones has been hitting the jumpers all day long. Now steps back to the foul line, working against Wadding in. Right-hand dribble down the lane. He's stripped away. Cade Gibbs up and running, and Cade Gibbs throws it away. That is a monstrous break for Georgetown as Grace had 3-on-1 going the other way. Cade Gibbs threw it 3 feet behind his brother Jacob. A massive, massive break for the Tigers. And the 15th Grace turnover. 1:16 on the clock. Dozier inbounds to Omer. And Dozier calls it off. Omer will run it at least for the moment anyway. Omer, right-hand dribble. Tough shot. He is fouled going up, and that's going to be 5 on Jake Wadding. Wadding becomes the first Lancer to foul out with 1:06 to go. Frankie Davidson will take the place of Jake Wadding. And now we will see the, quite frankly, in my mind, the overdue return of Elijah Malone back into the game. Omer will go to the foul line, and Davidson will check in after the first free throw, so Malone will replace Wadding officially. Omer at the line is 4 for 4 today. Checking to make sure the sub is good. All 4 free throws that Omer has made have been on this end of the floor in front of the Georgetown bench. Big free throws for the senior. He drills the first, and a new career high, 32 points for Jake Omer as Davidson steps in for Stoltzfus. 85-80 Georgetown in the lead with 1:06 to go. And now we're going to have a timeout taken by Grace. It'll be a 30-second timeout. It's all they have left. It'll leave the Lancers with 1 timeout remaining. We'll step aside very, very briefly. 1:06 to go in the game. Jake Omer stepping to the line for 1 more free throw, trying to pick up his 33rd point. Jake Omer standing about 8 feet behind the free throw line at the moment as everybody else gathers on the line. He is shooting 1 more. He has a Georgetown career high 32 points. Trying to give Georgetown back a 6-point lead with 1:06 to go in this quarterfinal. He is perfect. 6 of 6 at the line. None of them have even touched the rim. Omer will go out now with 4 fouls. Spikes will come in for defensive purposes to protect Omer with the 4 fouls. Little token backcourt pressure forces Gibbs to pick it up and jog with it up the floor into the front court. We have 1 minute remaining in this quarterfinal. Jacob Gibbs working inside. It'll be an offensive foul as he barreled through Jaquay Wales. What a massive play for Wales, who had been out-muscled all game long by Jacob Gibbs, and at the most opportune time, Wales picks up the charge. It's the 3rd foul on Jacobs and the 8th against Grace. Now Tigers have a 2-possession lead, I should say, with 58 seconds to go. If you're Grace, you don't have to foul here, but instead, we've got a whistle on the inbound. We've got a foul as Cade Gibbs pushed Tay Dozier in the back on the inbound, and so Tay Dozier will go to the line for a 1-on-1. Georgetown fans and bench want a flagrant 1 on the play. I don't think they're going to get that. Dozier got pushed out of bounds with it. Grace thought they were getting the ball back. That's not going to happen there. Dozier will go to the line. He's 3 for 4 there today. 68% on the season. The free throw is good. Give Georgetown credit for their free throw struggles in the first half. The Tigers are knocking them dead when it counts. The Tigers now 15 out of 20 at the foul line. Dozier now with 18. Excuse me, I meant 19. And a timeout being called by Georgetown. It'll be a 30-second timeout called by the Georgetown Tigers. 88-80 with 57 seconds remaining in this quarterfinal. And Chris Briggs just wanting to make sure everybody is solid, especially given how often Grace has been to the foul line. It's Grace, the one that's been struggling here in the second half. The Lancers have shot 40 free throws in this game, but they've missed 11. So I'll get you the lineups here once the teams break their huddles out of the timeout. Georgetown 30-second timeout, leaving the Tigers with 1:30 and 1 full remaining. Grace has 1:30 remaining. So for the Lancers, it'll be Scott, both of the Gibbs boys, Davidson and Malone. Georgetown counters with Wales, Spikes, Dozier, Bishop, and Jones. Jake Omer on the bench right now trying to protect him with 4 fouls. Spikes in there for defensive purposes. The Georgetown will put 2 in the backcourt on the Gibbs twins to force Grace to inbound and not let him walk the ball up the floor and save time. Scott will inbound again. This is token pressure at best. The Tigers back off. Gibbs hustling to the front court. Jacob Gibbs, that is. Right hand down the lane. Jump pass to the left side corner. Davidson's 3 hits the side of the backboard, and now we've got a tie-up, and it'll stay down here with Grace. Jacob Gibbs had it for a moment, and Spikes just came in and said, no, no, no. Those strong arms of Spikes force the tie-up, and it'll force a switch on the alternating possession should there be another tie-up. 46.9 on the clock. Stoltzfus to inbound after they clean up some moisture on the floor. 20 seconds to shoot for the Lancers, but that's not their concern. They need points in a hurry. Stoltzfus, left side. Davidson's 17-footer is short. Kyron Jones clears the glass, and a rebound foul is called on Jacob Gibbs. That'll be his 4th, and sending Kyron Jones to the foul line to shoot 2. And Georgetown fans behind us, we're starting to sense it a little bit here, but the Tigers can still got to try and salt this game away at the foul line. Kyron Jones, 3 dribbles of the basketball. The free throw is perfect. 23 for Jones, who has been simply magnificent here in Kansas City. One more here. Perfect again. 24 for Jones, 90-80 with 43 seconds to go. This is the most points Grace has allowed on the season, ties a season high. They gave up 90 to Marion about a month ago. Davidson over to Stoltzfus, right wing, doesn't want the 3, whips the pass to the left side, stolen away by Jaquay Wales. Kyron Jones up ahead. Tay Dozier could have went for a dunk, tried to run clock and stepped on the end line. Georgetown turns it over, just the 7th Tiger turnover. 28 seconds to go. Stoltzfus inbound, Tigers with some backcourt pressure. Cade Gibbs hustling the front court. Left side, a reverse lane is good by Frankie Davidson, and Grace will spend its final timeout with 23.6 on the clock and an 8-point Georgetown lead. So Grace now out of timeouts. They'll pressure the inbound. The Georgetown Tigers have 2 timeouts in their pocket, 1:30 and 1 full. on the floor for Georgetown. We expect to see the same five for the Tigers that have been on the floor for most of the game. Jake Omer is 6 of 6 from the line. Tay Dozier 5 for 6 from the line. Kyron Jones 4 for 7. Jabrion Spikes is 3 for 4. Jaquay Wales has not attempted a free throw. Jake Omer currently sitting on 33 points. Kyron Jones has 24 points and 12 rebounds. They have both been simply spectacular. Out of the timeout, it is the lineup I thought it would be. Wales, Omer, Dozier, Jones, and Bishop. For Grace, it'll be the Gibbs twins, Davidson, Scott, and Stoltzfus. Dozier will inbound. Scott trying to face guard the inbound man, not looking at Dozier. Omer trying to sprint his way in. Dozier running the baseline, gets it into Kyron Jones. Jones up ahead. Jaquay Wales, Rashad Bishop sends Georgetown with a windmill slam into the Fab Four. 18 seconds to go. It's a 92-82 lead. Dozier taps another ball away. He cannot save it. It's out of bounds with 11.6. The Tigers defense again. 25 points off of 16 Grace turnovers. Grace is going to finish shooting just shy of 50% in the game, but that's not going to tell the story, as it's been the Georgetown defense. Malone takes a 28-footer and hits it. Give him 15. It's 92-85 with 5 seconds left. Dozier into the front court. Kyron Jones will hold it. Georgetown is in the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history as they take down Grace College, the #1 seed in the Dewar Quadrant, by a 92-85 final. And now, here is the updated bracket. Georgetown is through to the Fab Four as they pick up their 30th win of the season. They'll take on either Arizona Christian or Indiana Tech in the Fab Four on Friday night. Georgetown got down big in the first half. They come back again and hold off the top seed, Grace Lancers. Another day, the same result. The Tigers are in to the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history. We still have plenty to come. You're going to hear from head coach Chris Briggs. And our star of the game, Georgetown, continues to dance on in Kansas City.
This is Coach Briggs' daughter, Reagan, and I hope you had fun watching that. My dad's going to be here shortly. Thanks.
That's professionalism if you'd ever asked for it. Chris Briggs' oldest, Reagan, coming up and letting you know that Chris Briggs will be joining us here for a chat. And the Briggs family all smiles now as Georgetown takes down Grace 92-85 to advance to the 16th Fab Four in Georgetown College history. They'll take on either Arizona Christian or Indiana Tech in the next round on Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tip. That will be on Friday night here in Kansas City. We're going to get the final stats for you up on your monitor here in just a moment. The team stats, that is. But looking at the individual stats for Georgetown, Jake Omer, 33 points. Kyron Jones, 24 points and 12 rebounds. Tay Dozier, 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. As I get a high five from Georgetown College Vice President of Athletics, Brian Evans. He is all smiles, as he should be, as he's calling back home to relay the info. We're not done here in Kansas City. Did you think we would be done here in Kansas City? That's not our style here at Georgetown College. The trio of Omer, Dozier, and Jones combined for 77 points in this ball game. Grace had 6 players in double figures, but the Tigers trio there just too good. And how about the defense for the Georgetown Tigers again? Grace shoots 49%, but that's not what I'm talking about. 25 points off 16 Grace turnovers. And on the other side, Georgetown, just 7 turnovers in the game. And how about the free throw shooting for the Tigers in the second half? Just an absolutely magnificent second half performance at that juncture from the charity stripe. I'm looking at the final stats now as they're being updated to us. Georgetown goes 11 of 12 in the second half. Conversely, Grace misses 7 free throws in the final 20 minutes. Any which way you shake it, Georgetown made the plays when they needed to be made after getting down by 13 twice in the first half. The Tigers go plus 20 the rest of the way to move on to Friday's Fab Four. I'm going to catch my breath here once again, and I'm going to step aside one more time. And when I come back, we're going to have either our star of the game or head coach Chris Briggs. We're going to hear from both of them. Depending on which one comes out here, it's depending on who you'll hear from coming up next from Kansas City. Fans, we thank you for sticking with us here on the Georgetown Tigers YouTube channel. Still awaiting either Chris Briggs or our star of the game to come join us here in just a moment. There are 3 stars you could pick from in this game, of the trio of Jake Omer, Kyron Jones, and also Tay Dozier, who had to carry a lot of the load in the first half with Jaquay Wales on the bench with foul trouble in that first half. Your final score is Georgetown 92, Grace 85. The Tigers are in the Fab Four for the 16th time in program history, chasing their 4th national championship. They'll take on the winner of Arizona Christian or Indiana Tech. Those 2 teams are warming up in front of us. They'll be in action a little bit later on here in Kansas City. Talked about the points in the paint advantage Grace had in the first half. It was an early advantage for the Lancers at 22-10. From there, Georgetown outscored Grace in the paint 24-4 to finish ahead, 34-26 in points in the paint. En route to this Tiger comeback, again, they got down again by double digits in the first half, got down by 13 twice, and rallied, shot their way back into the lead at halftime thanks to Jake Omer's incredible shooting in the first half. Jake Omer is on his way right now, and he's going to sit alongside me, and we'll have a conversation about his performance in this ball game. Jake Omer putting the headset on now, and he's going to join us. Now, Jake, we had been saying, and I think you've probably been saying to yourself for weeks, I'm due. I'm due. I'm due. I need to go off in a game, and you did it and then some, particularly in that first half. What were you seeing particularly in that first half that got you feeling so good with your shooting?
I mean, the first game you saw everybody else was getting their stuff going, and we got the win. But I saw early in the game we were struggling on offense, and somebody had to take over, and I was just getting comfortable and letting that shot go. So
you get all those open looks. Are you feeling those as they let go of your hand? Is it a different when you're in a zone like that? Is it a different feeling when those shots leave your hand that you feel good about that they're dropping?
Yes, sir. Like how you seen today, I was fading away. Usually, if I'm not hitting shots, I don't ever hit them type of shots. There's just those days, where I can just come off and be comfortable and fade, and they're going to go down sometimes. So.
You get down, your team does, by 13 twice. Similar story to what we saw against Langston in the quarterfinal. You come back, you chip away, and get yourself into the lead at halftime. What was that like for you on the floor to not only see your team get down, but then have the response against a terrific basketball team across the way and get yourself back into the lead before halftime?
That was huge, especially for me and Kyron. We're seniors. Me and Drew, we're seniors, so, it's our last ride, and we don't want to go down. We want to play as many games as possible, so that's what we're fighting for.
You get a Grace team that really wanted to pound the ball inside. A lot of big guys, very talented big guys. Did you get a sense perhaps you were frustrating some of their big guys as the half went along and allowed you guys to get back into it late in the half?
Yes, I was guarding a player that was averaging about 4 or 5 points a game, didn't shoot the ball much, so our game plan was, me dig in and just pester that big man and make it tough on him, and we wore him out, and that's for sure.
You get into the second half, slowly stretch the lead out, get up by double digits on more than one occasion. The thing that impressed me the most is this team's resolve. Every time Grace showed a run, you had an answer, whether it was you knocking down a three from the right wing, Kyron Jones inside as well. What does that say about the confidence of the team at this point to know that if the other team is coming with a run, we can answer and keep them away from us?
That just shows anybody on our team can come out and get going and get hot, and especially if we had players in foul trouble, we had kids come off the bench and step up and play a big role. So I think that's what helps us the most is our bench guys coming in with that same fire.
One of those guys who came in the first half and really established himself was Tay Dozier.
Mm-hmm.
Wales goes out with the 2 fouls. Dozier comes in, and it's really yourself, Kyron, and Tay that really start to carry the scoring load. 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's a freshman. He's not supposed to be doing this at this stage in his career. What was it like for you on the floor watching him relentlessly attack the rim and operate your offense with your traditional point guard out?
It's nice and makes it comfortable on me, too, because we still got a point guard that can come in and score and handle the ball. I mean, he's a freshman, but he plays like a senior, and hats off to him for sure today.
So the team is into the Fab Four for the 16th time. I know you feel robbed from 2020 that that team really felt like it was a sure thing almost to win the title, but COVID obviously wiped out the tournament. Now you're getting your crack at the Fab Four. What is it going to take for you and this team in the Fab Four round, no matter who you play, to advance on to the championship?
It's going to take 1 through 5, and then also our bench players. I had a big night tonight, but hopefully somebody else steps up tomorrow. I keep my game going too, but it's just about somebody stepping up each and every day. So,
Jake Omer, a career high 33 points here today, spearheading Georgetown's run into the Fab Four. You get a day off tomorrow.
That's
before Friday night, so enjoy it. As Coach would say, stay off your feet, stay hydrated. We'll see you in the Fab Four on Friday night.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Jake Omer, kind enough to give us some of his time here as a 33-point effort sends Georgetown to the Fab Four. Chris Briggs is coming, and he is going to talk to us here in just a moment. And, boy, do we have a lot to talk about with Chris Briggs. So make sure you keep it here. You're going to get his thoughts on this game in its entirety and a little look ahead into the Fab Four as Chris Briggs has reached his 4th Fab Four as the head coach here at Georgetown with a 92-85 win over the Grace College Lancers. And now Coach Briggs joining us here on headset. Coach, you guys don't like to make things easy on yourselves in the first half. You get you get down 13 again, and then all of a sudden, Jake Omer starts going off.
Yeah, no doubt. We like to feel it out and get down, get in the hole, and see how interesting we can make it.
Just like he drew it up, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. So, but yeah, big time on Jake getting rolling. Obviously, we've seen him do that before, and we see him do it in practice a whole lot. So he gets gets in that zone, and there's not really anything anybody can do about it. So, and he did a great job of not forcing once they got in there. You know, he gave it up one time, got it back, and you know, we told them at halftime that they're going to be locked in on Jake, and that's going to open it up for Kyle, open it up for other guys, and that's exactly what went down. And just proud of these guys for sticking together and toughing it out and battling through some of the runs and the adversity and getting the job done and, you know, taking them to the Final Four.
You mentioned him once. You mentioned him now, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. Kyron Jones in the second half, magnificent once again. And the thing that I loved going against their big fella Malone, that Kyron was willingly time and again attacking him and scoring on him inside. What did you see from him as he was trying to attack Elijah Malone?
Well, just exactly what he saw last night with Big Thomas from Freed Hardman. Saw the way he was able to spin, use his body, bury him deep, and then elevate and get up over it. He doesn't have big fella doesn't have a whole lot of lift, you know, when you get him down there. So he's just kind of putting his hands up, and Kyle was able to back him down, get what he needed, get the space he needed to get a shot up. And you know, it was just fun to watch him go on that run. I don't know how many he scored in a row for us, but I would not be surprised if it was 10, 12, 14, or 16 points in a row. But he was going to work. And, Al Brule sitting over there, one of the Redcoats this year, used to coach Robert Morris and had a guy before I got here, but they just used to tell stories. His only play call was do it, Los, and give the ball to Carlos and let him go. It kind of felt like that. It was do it, Kai. So just proud of him, big-time effort, and put us on our back and led the charge to get it done in the second half.
One player who is not going to show up in the stat book, but I know he had a monstrous effect on your team defensively, was Drew Lamont.
No doubt.
Inside. Frustrating and I think tiring Elijah Malone as that game went along. Lamont's only going to finish with 2 points, but my goodness, what a defensive performance from him.
No doubt. Had some cheap ticky-tack ones too for the most part. Did a great job of banging with him, moving his feet, making him work for it, and definitely helped wear him down because he was definitely tired. Malone was late in the game. So, yeah, Drew was huge, and, you know, not the offensive production that he wants or he expects or anybody wants or expects. But you know what? When you get the win and you move on, nobody's worried about that. That's all we're worried about is just getting the win, moving on, and that's why these guys are special.
Your team was in foul trouble a lot in this game. Multiple guys with multiple fouls, particularly early. Want to go back to the midway point of the first half. Jaquay Wales matched up against a taller defender, picks up his second foul. Tay Dozier comes in, and Tay Dozier was magnificent in this game. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He looked like a man beyond his years as a redshirt freshman. He looked completely in control out there tonight as a redshirt freshman running your offense.
He is so smart and so crafty. He knows, I've said this probably multiple times, he knows every position. Like, if you want him to run the point, okay, I got it. He's a wing, okay, I got it. You want to put him at the 4 spot, if he's in there with Kyron or somebody at the 4, he'll run that spot too, and he'll sit there and tell everybody else where to go. I think he probably knows the offense better than I do because I screw some things up every once in a while, and I'm not sure Tay ever has. But, yeah, he's unbelievable. Such a great kid, such a smart kid, such a magnificent talent, and was huge for us. You know, coming off this bench in this new bench role that I think he kind of likes. You know, he's been starting all year basically. Kai, you know, Kai got hurt. He was in there. Then they kind of switched. He got hurt. Kai jumps in there. So, you know, when you got a great group of guys that don't really care who starts, don't really care who plays the most, as long as we win the game, you know, it's a whole lot of fun to coach these guys.
You were mad at yourself last night that you did not get Jabrion Spikes into the game last night. He came tonight, knocked down 3 free throws, but I thought his defense, again, on the perimeter and even creating shots for himself inside was a big lift.
Big-time defense out of him. Great play. He's much more comfortable if he's on the court with Tay and with Quay to help him handle the basketball. That way he doesn't feel like the whole point guard duty is on him. So we've got him in there in that role. And, yeah, I was mad at not getting him in last night, even apologizing to him in the locker room and then today too. And same thing, Coach, it's all good. We won. You know, that's these guys' mentality. So proud of him. He definitely helped us defensively off the bench with Quay in foul trouble in the first half.
Last night, you hold Langston to 32% shooting, hold him down around the 60-point mark. Tonight, Grace puts 85 on the board. However, that's not the defensive part I want to talk about with your team. You force Grace into 16 turnovers, 25 points off of those 16 turnovers. Talk to me about that and your team's ability to capitalize on the Lancer mistakes.
Big time. I mean, you know, a lot of those are just, you know, coming up with loose balls, getting deflections, getting blocks, you know, and then getting out and going in transition and finishing. You know, same kind of thing earlier in this game. We didn't finish around the basket, and wasn't falling and then got it rolling. So, just big time to turn a good team like that. I mean, I can't say enough about them, their coaching staff and their players. First-class team and really great team, had a great season. And, yeah, to turn them over 16 times is very uncharacteristic of their team.
You're back into the Fab Four once again for you, the 16th time in program history that the Tigers are in the Fab Four. You're going to take on either Arizona Christian or Indiana Tech. You've had some history with Arizona Christian out here in this tournament. Obviously, it's a different group, same coaching staff still there and what have you. What's your plan here as these two teams are about ready to tip off since you don't know your opponent at this point?
Right, we're going to watch them both and get ready for them both and see who we get. Obviously, we played Arizona Christian. I believe we played them in 19,
yes.
I believe, in the second round.
Yep.
And then we lost to them first round in, I believe, 15. So as far as I go back, we're 1-1 against them unless I'm forgetting one. But well-coached team, always have talent, a lot of good talented players. So I know they're going to be good. I know Indiana Tech, same thing, going to be a tough Indiana team, smart, crafty team. I haven't seen really any of either one of them. So looking forward to seeing it, checking them out, and see who we're going to have.
Big thing is, as well, Coach, you get tomorrow off. Chance to get everybody rested. The players anyway. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I know the coaching staff, it's never a day off, but a day of rest out here in Kansas City before you head to Friday night's Fab Four. Coach, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Get as much of a rest as you can get yourself, and we'll see you Friday night in the Fab Four.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys being here.
Absolutely. That is head coach Chris Briggs joining us once again as Georgetown takes down the top seed Grace Lancers in the Dewar Quadrant. The Tigers are back in the Fab Four as they take down Grace by a final score of 92-85. That's going to wrap up our call of the game here today. Georgetown will tap up, and we'll take a look at the bracket one more time here. The Fab Four bracket. We'll look at that one more time here so you know exactly where the matchups stand as we take a look. There you go. Georgetown in action Friday night at 8 p.m. Georgetown time, 7 p.m. Central time is when the Tigers will tip. At that point, they will know who they will potentially take on in the national championship. For our terrific crew out here, Liz Martin on social media, Bethany Blair producing and directing our broadcast today, Richard Davis, our outstanding photographer, I'm Jason Griever. Thank you so much for joining us, Tiger fans. We're not done. Georgetown's quest for a fourth national championship will continue on Friday night